Hello, everybody. Welcome to the most recent and probably your new favorite podcast about motorsports. This is Ases do Volante.
Good morning, good afternoon, and why not good evening. Here we are again after a whole winter or the summer. It depends on where do you live. We are back again on the track.
Ases do Volante.
I'm, as usual, in the companion of our main engineer, the man who knows about this stuff. There in the beautiful Lisbon, our friend.
João Barata, here I am.
And over here in the very south of the world and very south of America, I'm Diego in Buenos Aires, Argentina. A very special year for F1 fans. We were really waiting for this moment. So we will try as first chapter of 2022 year to explain, to develop a few ideas about the new regulations and about what happened in the final stages of the last year, 2021, and what echoes had that championship to these days. But as I said a few minutes ago, we've got our specialist to analyze all that. Please, João, be my guest.
So, here we are in the verge of starting a new F1 season. There's a lot of changes, new regulations, new cars, some new drivers, and even new consequences which will lead to new racing regulations, because the cars are changing, but the racing regulations weren't. And after last year's incident in the finale of the season, probably we will see some racing regulations changing also. We don't have the full picture yet because the FIA is still analyzing what happened. But we have already some things that the new FIA president, which I think made a impactful start of his of his journey. We have some things that we already know. And well, what is your understanding of what happened last year?
Oh, what a question, João. It was very strange because we were waiting for something different to happen, and well, it happened. But it felt like a little. I don't know if you agree, but it felt a little forced. So that sensation remained during the whole winter. Am I right? I am a little confused because we are still in summer here at the south, and well, we had a few complaints from Mercedes asking for an explanation, and even revisiting what happened, and it was like very strange feeling that Hamilton was going to quit from Formula One.
I never believed that.
I don't know what to think. I did.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I did. I saw the soap opera, the complete soap opera. So it was a very intense season in whole levels, not only in racing, but politics. Perhaps it was the most drive to survive season of the whole.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So, if the intention was to call back fans, well, the result undoubtedly was
Achieved.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
I think
thank you.
I take away two things from what happened, and those are: the first is that I think Michael Masi's intentions were the best and noble of having a proper race in the end, but he did it all wrong.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
he didn't follow the regulations per se. And another thing was that the structure of how the race director and the stewards operate and racing rules were clearly not prepared for so fierce battle for the title as we saw last year. because I don't know, because I didn't saw, but I see many people that lived through those years of Prost Senna, yeah, saying that this was even more intense because of also the drivers, but the pressure the teams made and how social media today operates, because that makes a lot of noise. And so, yeah, Formula One race rules are not prepared for that in terms of consistency and clarity. And I think it's a good opportunity, since we are changing everything. We could
Mm-hmm.
try to make things more clear and consistent for the stewards not having those kinds of inconsistencies in decisions like we saw
Mm-hmm.
last year, because there were a lot, and the most important and the most flagrant one was the one in the season finale. Maybe because it was in the five final laps of the season, because if it was in the second race, I think Michael Masi would not have
Mm-hmm.
been ruled out of the of his job. I think it would have been just some controversy. Like I think that it would be the like the one when Vettel lost that win in Canada. Do you remember? Because he went outside
No.
and he went outside to the grass, lost control of the
Yep.
car, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it
yeah.
would
I
be
remember it.
like that. A lot of noise, but nothing happened. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's the middle of the season. Let's go ahead. But this one had a very huge impact. Then people get polarized. Everything goes and they lose objectivity. So yeah, but
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, Michael Masi was a kind of, and I mean, giving him the sack was a kind of human sacrifice
yeah,
because, in fact, well, we all have seen, we wanted to see, but not all is as as it must be. So we've got to kill the guy that saw it all. Okay, don't worry, don't
but
worry.
yeah,
But
they had
well,
they have to have a scapegoat.
yeah, and Mercedes, as one of the most powerful teams in the grid, asked for a casualty, not for a casualty, asked for a punishment for what they considered a casualty. So, well, that was, you want a head, here you've got one.
Yeah, and
So,
they should clear up those messes of, like in Brazil, Verstappen wasn't even investigated when they pushed Hamilton to the
mhm.
outside, and even himself went to the outside. But then in Saudi Arabia, he was penalized, and then Hamilton in Abu Dhabi wasn't penalized. Well,
Do
they
you
should make
remember
it clear.
Hamilton at Silverstone?
Yeah,
Uh, so, in fact, I think not at that level, not in that way, but it was necessary. Perhaps having a kind of jury with Michael Massey as president, with many race directors working together at the same time as a team. Perhaps that would have been a more polite exit to this race direction crisis. But well,
and interestingly, they changed the rule now to, if Michael Masi did what he did now, it would be legal.
no.
Yeah,
Please explain me that.
they well, Michael Masi is not race director. The changes were this was the first one. Then the Portuguese Eduardo Freitas and another guy
Yeah.
uh, that will be race directors, and we'll have counseling of another one that I don't remember the name, and they will have like a VAR, like in football, to help
There
them
will
make the
be
right decisions.
a remote unit analyzing the
Yeah,
video tapes to advise the race director. Yeah.
and then they also changed the points rules in races like Spa. Like you have to have like 3 laps without the safety car, and it's between 0 and 25%. You get like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 points. And if it's from 25 to 50,
Yes.
well, they changed that, and they also changed that now there's no need for all cars to recover or to wait for that lap to be, or they don't
Oh.
have to wait another lap, like that was the issue of having to do another full lap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they did that, and they could just, instead of that, they could just, like, if we have a safety car, 5 laps, 5 or less laps to go to the end of the race, we will show a red flag. It
I
would be
don't know if
easier.
you. Absolutely. Do you know what happens at NASCAR when you have a yellow flag during the final two laps? There is, I don't know, I don't remember how they call it, but
Mm-hmm.
you've got to do one extra lap for
Mm-hmm.
uh, for every time. You've got to have two clear and good. If you have a problem, if you have a yellow flag, then they add one lap to
Okay.
to provide drivers two free and clear
Two green
laps.
flag
Hmm.
laps. Yeah. The only
Yeah.
in Formula One, the problem for that would be the fuel. They would
Yeah.
uh,
Yep.
they would have to refuel somehow. But yeah. But I think that,
Yeah.
well, they should change it for a more straightforward rule. Yeah, because now, if there are only 3 laps to go, maybe they will do another mess just to try to not finish it on the yellow flag. And if they had a red flag, it would all be okay. And
Yeah.
everybody would
Absolutely.
know, it would be the same for everybody. Well,
Yeah, I agree that they have to keep simple.
hmm
We have very complex rules at Formula One. There was a time at the 2000 years that the regulations were so complicated that fans weren't able. We fans weren't able to understand what was happening on the track. Do you remember when you could start with a with, with a few liters of fuel and you could choose the liters you had in the start, and that well
yeah.
that wasn't good. And I think keeping it simple helps fans to follow Formula One.
Yeah, we still have to wait for the final verdict, but that's how we stand right now. And regarding the new rules, we have exciting new rules with a clear intent of making races more close. The cars For the cars to get more close to each other, more overtakes, following the true spirit of racing. And so we have a lot of changes in the cars. And what are the key changes? So we have the ground effect floor. The cars will have 2 tunnels that will create a ground effect.
Mm-hmm.
So they lost the need of so complex aerodynamics, and this would make the downforce generated from another car, which would be better for the car following the one in front. And the objective is to for cars to race close to each other, and in order
Mm-hmm.
to have more overtakes and all of that. Also, a simplified front wing and a new rear wing. I don't know if you knew, but the rear wing, I don't know. I am pretty certain about this, but I will not confirm it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the rear wing is like a stock part now.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I think they cannot develop the rear wing. And the front wing had they had five. They could have 5 elements. Now they only have 4, and it's wider and everything. All of that in order to make the airflow go upward instead of to the car behind. They are trying to do the
Mm-hmm.
airflow go, we could say, to the sky. Well, it's not the sky, but in an upward
Mm-hmm.
direction. And this will also be very impactful. Another key thing, which I think it makes the cars look very cool, It's the 18-inch tires with the wheels also much bigger,
Mm-hmm.
which aesthetically is pleasing, but well, that will have an impact on the cars. And we already saw some drivers complain about the visibility, which is reduced because of those big tires. And yeah, um, I think these are the main ones. Oh, maybe we can also talk about the engine, uh,
Mm-hmm.
or the power units that will be frozen from this year on, and they are also with 10% of ethanol. They were before it was only 5%. So this will have some impacts for sure. We will have to see which manufacturer does the better job, and maybe we will see in these races some more reliability issues because, well, if they are frozen power units and the only reason they can update them is if they have reliability issues, I think if you
Mm-hmm.
are doubting to increase your power like 10 horsepower or 20 horsepower, you will risk it and then deal with the consequences of that instead of being with a less powerful frozen power unit. Well, at least that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
um, Also, we'll have a lower budget cap, but it's not regarding the cars, but the budget cap was reduced 5 million, so now it's 140 million. And yeah, I'm very pleased about all these regulations. I'm hoping. I don't know if we will have the how do you say the consequences will be seen on the first 5 races or even this season, but at least the philosophy and the mentality of everyone in Formula One, I think, is changing, and they are understanding that the sport needs to improve, and we are on the
Mm-hmm.
right path, I think. What do you think?
I think we are living a kind of revolution because of the new owners of Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that all these changes are because of the Americans that are leading Formula One now. And for Americans, it is very important to have not only a good sport context, but and sport show. So all the regulations um, are made basically to keep the show. We speak about the sport and we speak about mm, the the possibility of having more equality among the cars, but
Mm-hmm.
also that means that uh, there would be a more attractive sport for for fans. So also perhaps we are having 3 races at USA. So the American philosophy um, is is there, like
Mm-hmm.
like I was going to say like a shadow because I do not I'm not sure that I like the American philosophy, but um, it will be all part of the F1 DNA. Um, besides it is an American proposal in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the alma maters of the whole change um, becomes of that. But I don't know. I'm wait. I think you would agree with me if I say the cars are for all of them. Mm?
Mm-hmm. They
Even the Haas.
they look they look really good. They look really really good.
Mhm. And that is very important. Do you remember those cars um, of the I don't know which year the 2000
2009.
2010 I was going to say. They were so horrible.
We
Well,
are talking
we are.
about the Brown GP and
Mhm. Yeah,
okay, yeah, 2009.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so being far from that, it does a smart move.
Yeah. They
Mhm.
look
Uh,
those cars didn't look
Obviously,
like F1 cars. These ones look like F1 cars.
yeah, yes, absolutely. Uh, Juan Manuel Fangio said there are no ugly cars. There are just cars that win and that they don't. And if they win, they are pretty. That is the only thing that matters. Hmm?
Um,
Um,
I forgot about one thing that also changed,
yeah.
and it was like the FIA requirements for Pirelli tires, and now we are supposed to have a tire that doesn't suffer so much from degradation, and it has a wider range of operating temperature, and that
Hmm.
also doesn't overheat so much. All of this also to make possible for cars to follow each other more closely. So we can really see that every change they made, or almost every change, it was made in order to make cars more followable, if we could say that.
Hmm. DRS will remain, but it won't be so important. Um,
That's what they hope.
I think.
Yeah.
Mhm. And no more. There are no
Oh.
more.
Oh, I understand. Okay, 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 okay.
Hmm.
Barge board? No.
Dashboards. That
Okay,
is the name. Yeah.
okay.
There are no more dashboards. But if you look the Red Bull, you could see they are working with something there. There are no
Yeah.
dashboards, but they are working with something. Mm. Uh, Adrian Newey is doing his work over there.
Oh, yeah, of trying to achieve the unachievable.
Okay, perhaps later we could speak team by team, car by car, opinions about technical issues, about the libraries. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it would be nice for the second part.
Ases do volante.
Well, Joao, we are just after pre-season tests, and we have seen for the first time the 2022 F1 cars all together. And I really liked them. Even I liked the Haas, but I don't know. Did you like them?
Yeah, I think the cars look pretty cool. I wasn't expecting them to be so cool,
Mhm.
and so that was good, and also different from each other, which people were not expecting.
Absolutely. I was thinking about my very first years as a Formula One fan. I
Hmm.
remember the 80s, the very late 80s, uh, very early 90s. Um,
Hmm.
Different designers with very different concepts. very different ideas about the rules and very different interpretations of the regulations, and that was great. Yeah, the cars were also very, very pretty at
Mhm.
that time, like today. Mm.
So I think that's the first takeaway the first thing, the first takeaway from this, they called it shakedown test, so it wouldn't be the official testing session, but yeah, because of Bahrain rights.
Yeah.
But yeah, if many people were afraid, and even in the paddock, there was that fear present about very looking alike cars. That was far from the truth, and each team brought his own vision about the new regulations and some interesting things to analyze in many cars. They are very attractive. Maybe they seem a little sluggish or heavy, like a
Mm-hmm.
little bit volume, too
Mm-hmm.
much volume. But they seem like, and we discussed this, I think, they seem like Formula One cars, which is always good.
Absolutely.
They look like a Formula One car should look.
Yeah, they look very aggressive. They look really, really modern. Well, the vanguard of technology forms part of the DNA in Formula One. So I think they are in the right direction. Sorry, you said about the car themselves and their volume. There's a thing over there about the weight. Am I right?
Oh yeah, because it seems that many or most of the teams are not able to be close to that minimum weight,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the rumors are that only Alfa Romeo could do that, the 795 kilos,
Mm-hmm.
and McLaren is also close. That's what the people are saying, and so most of the teams were asking for that minimum weight to be increased, which, well, if one of them could make it, it's not so fair. Like in, it's like a mid game rules changing. But yeah, because there's, I think they need 8 votes from teams, and so
Mm.
it's it's them. But at least I think the increase will be only 3 kilos,
Mm-hmm.
which is not so bad, because I think at least rumors, are that some teams were asking for 15. So
No, no, no. I think that's not possible. But I'm sure that 3 kilos you were speaking about will be there for sure. Mm.
yeah.
If, even if, especially sorry, if Mercedes and Red Bull are interested in that.
Yeah. And well, taking also a thing I said before about the rights of this preseason testing being with Bahrain, and so these shakedown tests not being the real thing, or they were trying to make it look like that. I think another takeaway we can have is that it was maybe a lost opportunity, because the people were really like looking forward, and there was a big interest in seeing this new generation of cars. And I think it was a shame to not have like live coverage. So a few images, well, a few, we had some, but if we had
Mm-hmm.
live coverage, it would be much more. There was not much media allowed in this testing session. So yeah, I think the fans were
Disappointed.
yeah, a
Mistreated
little bit.
also.
Yeah, that's right. Disappointed and mistreated, because everyone was really look forward and excited to see the new cars, and then it was like, meh.
Do you know
um,
why this decision?
money. But I wanted to be the, like, how do you say, the debut of the new cars,
Mm-hmm.
and they paid for that, to have the rights of the first testing session coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to negotiate what they called this shakedown test. Well,
Mm.
you know, they had to do some adjustments, little adjustments, so contracts can still be valid. Yeah. Another thing that I think we could take away is that there,
Yeah.
for a first test in the new era of cars, they were able to drive a lot, so a good level of reliability. There weren't
Mm-hmm.
many issues, many red flags.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we saw some problems, especially in the last day, with Renault power unit, Aston Martin also having some problems. But almost all teams were able to drive a lot. If we have to highlight the two worst teams in this matter, they were Haas and Alfa Romeo. But yeah, we will see how they will do in the next one because they need to drive and to gather data and to understand that car. But I think maybe Alfa Romeo are on a worse position. And I don't know if you follow F1 channel on YouTube, but the technical guys there were really interested in Haas, in what Haas did with their car, like the philosophy. Yeah, they were really interested in Haas. So I think maybe they, well, they will not win, but maybe they will not be the last ones. We'll see.
I'm really surprised about what you are saying. Even knowing now that Haas have lost their main sponsor, so a kind of contradiction that that they are going to evolve a lot. At the same time, they are losing their main economical sustain because of the Russian thing.
Mhm. Well, Gene Haas said that in an interview a few days ago that the major sponsor was always Haas. I don't know if I believe Haas Automation. Yeah. I don't know if I believe, but that's what he said. We'll see what happens during the season. Well, just let's go back and
Okay,
and maybe that's true because with the driver choice to replace Nikita Mazepin being Magnussen, well, I don't see Magnussen bringing a lot of money. In fact, he has to be paid. So maybe, yeah.
earlier I told you that, in my opinion, giving that set to Kevin Magnussen has a relation with necessity of the team having a developer driver and to have someone that may know the internal structure of the team and someone who could have a good friendly relation with Gene Haas or Gunther Steiner. And I was going to ask, I don't know if you know it or not, Gene was driving for Haas the United States. He was driving at IMSA, but I don't know.
No, he was driving. No, he was driving for Peugeot and Chip Ganassi, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, a very intense driving style. But, at least a guy who knows very well the category.
Max will not be alone, or will not be the most aggressive
At least
this year. Yeah, we can have some more conclusions. I think suspensions will be a key for success, as the cars are heavier and less agile. We could see, especially in the last sector of Barcelona, that some cars don't like to go to the curbs.
Yeah.
The rebound of going into a curb shows that these new cars you have to be more smooth in that field, and so maybe reaching a compromise there could be with the suspension could be an advantage. Also, that in fact it seems it will be possible to follow closely or more closely.
Yeah, because I think the main aim still wasn't achieved. This thing of the easy overtakes. Well, we'll see. Perhaps I'm being a little I don't know how to say
negative. Pessimist.
Pessimist.
No, but I think you are right.
Those are
you are right
words.
on one point, which is that maybe they will be able to follow more closely. As Leclerc said, like from 3 seconds to 1 second, it's better. From 1 second to half a second, it's similar. And from half a second to on top of the guy is much better to follow. But the thing is that the split stream effect is not so strong. So maybe they will be able to follow each other more closely, but they will not be able to overtake each other. So yeah, we will have to. Well, this is speculation, but we will have to wait for the first races to find out. And we have to have a mix of tracks. We can judge like by maybe Australia, but for Bahrain is a good track, I think, to start. And there's two more things only I have here to discuss, which are first that this strange porpoising effect will I think maybe be very important in the beginning of the season when everyone is trying to understand and not have that, because in the middle of the season everybody knows how to deal with it and that's not an issue, but right now it will be, and maybe the first teams that find a more intelligent solution to not have porpoising will have an advantage in the first few races.
Hmm.
It will be interesting also to see in these tests that will happen in Bahrain if there are some developments in that area. For sure, there will be. And to conclude or to
Yeah.
finalize, it seems that the grid didn't suffer many alterations, or we will not have a surprise. I think it seems at least that Mercedes and Red Bull are strong. Ferrari and McLaren also look strong. The midfield, as usually, also with some good performances.
Hmm.
We maybe have some, like Alfa Romeo, like I said, there's some catching up to do. Alpine also was a little bit meh. There are many people also interested in Williams, in the Williams car. But yeah, I don't see the grid like we will not probably have a Brown or even like Aston Martin fighting for victories or Alpine.
Mm.
So I think the field will be, maybe we will have Ferrari and McLaren closer to the top, or but not big changes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I agree that the final grid or the final order in the grid will be very similar to
Hmm.
last year. Finally, I would like to ask you about the liveries. We have a very interesting, very attractive collection of liveries this year. Is there any one of them special for you that you think that is more attractive?
Yes,
Yes.
Ferrari. Like for me, they are one lap ahead of the others
Mm-hmm.
regarding how beautiful that car looks. Yeah, awesome. I think it's awesome.
When we started this little analysis,
Mhm.
we said that it was a little bit like in the late 80s or the early 90s, and I think the library has a
Mhm.
close relation with that.
Yeah, with the black wings.
It, yeah, it made me think about Prost Ferrari. I don't know what
Mhm.
year what was that, but well, indeed, Aston Martin has a pretty car. I don't know if you, but I really liked the choice Williams made for their car. Mm.
Mhm.
And I think we haven't spoke yet about this, but we both would agree or we'll conclude the same about the ugliest library of this season, and it would be
Alpine.
ah yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is really great to have this brand of water
Mhm.
back uh, in,
They
at,
did a really good initiative. They had a really good initiative when they were at Racing Point. Do you remember that each time they finished in the points, or yeah, it was something like this. Each time they finished in the points, a
Mhm.
car, they would make one of those things in Africa, in a place where people
Oh,
didn't have.
for a water bump. Mm. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
I didn't know that, and it seems
Yeah,
great.
yeah, they did
Do,
that. Yeah.
do you know that if they are proposing something similar for this season?
I'm not aware of any initiative like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, sorry. And well, there are some designs that are going on. There are some designs that are continuous, like a Red Bull, like it was the Haas livery. It will be no more because of the leaving of the main sponsor. I don't know. Is there any other car that you think it is especially attractive?
I also really like the McLaren.
Oh yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
I think it's
very
really cool.
nice.
I think Red Bull is more of the same. Mercedes, I think it, it it has the color of the everyday car. It's not funny.
And Alfa Romeo presented a very, very good-looking
Oh
car.
yeah, Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You are right. You are right.
Remembering the I don't know, mid '80s. It was it the last time they were at Formula One? I think so. Uh,
Yeah, I think so.
well, remembering those beautiful cars that were very similar at that moment uh, to the McLarens,
Mhm.
but well, they look really good. Well, we have reviewed all this, I think.
Yeah, I don't have any more conclusions to take away of these three little testing days. It's first time cars on track, not much information, so we don't know what the teams were doing. Yeah.
So it is said that we are having a lot of changes in all cars um, during the first race. And we'll see. And for sure, we are going to analyze that, mm? um, especially counting with you in our team.
Yeah, it seems that a lot of teams will bring a B version. There are rumors that Mercedes is bringing a new radical concept. We will see if that's true.
Yeah, I read that they are going to use a very thinner car. Uh,
Yeah, like without
mm,
sideboard.
mm, so opposite to Ferrari. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
we have to see that. Um, we have to.
You'll see tomorrow.
Will we?
It's testing day.
Okay. So, well,
News flash for Diego.
okay. So, let's keep in touch. We
Yeah,
cannot miss this.
I won't.
Okay, Joao, it was really great to do this little review in our very personal style, we could say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's time to say goodbye till the next chapter of this podcast called.
Adjuvant. Ah,
So, bye, see you, take care. We hope to see
bye
you again.
bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.